Welcome to No Man's Sky survival mode, and here we are. We're hanging around in space because I thought maybe this is the best way to start this video, because normally I either start in a space station or down on my capital vessel, and maybe sometimes just hanging around in space is like just a chill thing to do. I mean, it's relaxing in some ways, and that leads into what I'm probably going to be talking about a little bit in this video, and that is the game content in No Man's Sky, especially in the mid to late game. And what's actually triggered this thought process is a comment from Darren Armstrong, who asked me if the game had got any better, which I think was a way of saying, is it worth buying it? And to me, it's very much a difficult question to answer, because I think anyone who plays No Man's Sky for any length of time, it's a game that you either love it or hate it, and I don't think there's anyone who can say, well, I half like it. I think you either really enjoy playing No Man's Sky or you don't. And I think it's also a game where, how can you explain it? It's also a game where you have periods where you play a lot of it and then maybe you get a bit tired of it and then go off and play something else. I mean, I admit that happens to me, guys. I do play No Man's Sky regularly, but I do have periods when I do play it for quite large amounts of time, and then I kind of go off it, and then I maybe just play just enough to do these videos. And I think that's the nature of No Man's Sky. You've always got to be in the right frame of mind to play the game. And it also depends a little bit on what you want from a game. Anyway, before I get too deep into philosophical discussions on why you play No Man's Sky, in this part what I want to do is pick up on a little bit of a tip from Evelon, who's pointed out that it's a little while since I visited a red system. And he suggested maybe a change of pace, that we just go and explore a red system. And maybe that's what we're going to do, and that's partly the reason why I'm just hanging around here in my Explorer. The other reason is I'm also collecting tritium, because I got very low and I do need to make some frigate fuel. Anyway, let's get down to doing something a bit different. And here we are. So we're going to go in the map, we're going to warp. I think I've got enough for a warp. Oops. And I think I just want to keep going towards the center of the galaxy. And I've got to find a red star, and finding a red star against this kind of slightly reddish background is a little bit difficult. I think that's a red star there. I think red stars are K systems. So that is a... Let's have a look at that. It's only got 2 planets and a moon. Well, maybe we could do a little bit better than that. Now, you'll see that with these red systems, what you get is you don't get any information on them, because a lot of these red systems don't actually have any how can you explain it, any life forms on it. Oh, that looks okay. That's looks like it's 3 planets. No, 3 planets, 2 moons. In fact, it could be 3 moons actually, looking at that. Yeah, I think we're gonna go here, guys. So what's most likely going to happen is we're going to arrive here and there'll be no space station, which means there's no life forms in the system. So here we are, we're on this red system and there's no space station. So first thing I'm going to do is summon it, and of course there's no conflict. And I think this goes to the slight core of the problem with No Man's Sky at the moment, and that is with the game content, especially for the mid to late game, that you've got systems like this, but as soon as you arrive, you know what's going to happen, and there doesn't seem to be really great surprises in the game. And I think this is an area where Hello Games need to do a little bit of work, because it'd be really great if you could come to a system like this and it says no life form and it doesn't tell you the life form, and then there's a surprise. It's probably the best way to explain it. That maybe there's an unexpected life form or some unexpected threat here, which adds a little bit of flavour to exploring these systems. Anyway, let's just get out here, because I've changed back to the fighter, because we want to give the fighter a little bit of a a run for its money. I'm just gonna blast our way through here, and let's have a look-see at the systems. That's interesting because we got something coming in to attack us. We're gonna wait and see what that is actually. Okay, we've got a hostile scan. So even though that there isn't a dominant life form in it, this is the type of thing I was talking about, guys. Is that you do get something that's a bit unusual in these systems. There we are. Wow. I'll collect tritium at the same time. Wait. Hey! I've got to watch the shielding. I think I'm wasting a little bit of my ammunition on this. Right, let's get in here. Right, we've recharged this. There's a hostile coming in. These guys are a little bit more aggressive than... That's 2 out of 3. I suppose I should really use my rockets, but I've noticed that it's actually a bit like an explorer. Wow. That's interesting. These ships from my frigates. Oh, maybe they are my combat frigates. Okay. Where were we? We got a bleak planet here. There's cadmium, pyrite, manganese. Alright. And where's the other moon? Planet up here. There's a planet here with the moon on it. Unknown planet discovered. That's a scorched planet. And we'll just check the moon out. And we've got a petrified moon. Don't think I've ever been to a petrified moon, so I think we're going to start with that. I'm just going to keep blasting my way through the... So here we go, guys. So here we are. We're coming down on this petrified moon. It's probably going to be nothing of any great value down on here, but you never know with No Man's Sky. There's always something that's worth seeing around. Oh, it looks like there's... I think we've been on one of these before. Yeah. And what we're going to do is, I think we'll just set down here. Just going to jump out. Weather redacted mineral for... It's got copious fauna, but this moon probably only has a single life form, and of course it's always got sentinels. Just gonna, there's a life form that way, and of course we can do a little bit of scanning. And some oxygen over there, not that I really need oxygen. So let's just have a bit of a wander around, see if we can find the life form. There should also be, there we are, there's lots of life forms over here. I can't remember exactly what the life form on a petrified planet looks like. Obviously the moons are the same. There we are. I think it's these things here, the tumbling, or I don't know what you call them actually. A colzomium. Yeah, so they just roll across the planets, and of course what they are, as if I come to discoveries, you'll see this is a single species. So this is a good hit for the the milestone where you've got to get all the creatures on one planet. Land on a few of these and you've got it cracked straight away. Some condensed carbon there. I'm just going to go and pick condensed carbon up. And I think this is one of the things about No Man's Sky, and I've watched videos, and in fact there's a little bit of discussion going on at the moment with respect to the next update about the lack of content, and I do agree that there is a lack of content in No Man's Sky, and I think people tend to describe it as risk reward play, where you go and explore dungeons and things like that. And yes, I think No Man's Sky would benefit from, say, maybe finding a dungeon or a strange building or exploring a cave, and then there's something down there that you may even be able to put in a few boss fights. But I think it'd be a mistake if Hello Games switched the focus of the game completely in that direction. And the reason I say that is that part of the wonder of No Man's Sky, and part of the reason why I actually enjoy playing No Man's Sky, is almost the symmetry and wonder of, we could say, the normal or the mundane. It's like this. I mean, I know there's a lot of people who visit a petrified planet and walk around and say, right, I've seen one of these, let's go off and find another planet of a different type, something that's a bit more interesting. And I think this is a little bit of a curse when you play games which are very directed, that have a very specific storyline or objective, that you do X, Y, Z and you get somewhere. And I think this is what makes No Man's Sky different, because it is a great big galactic sized sandbox, and what you need to do is just get the wonder of what you see, because yes, the main features on this planet are the same, and once you visit one they all look the same, but every one is different and unique. And this is a characteristic of the really great explorers of the Victorian Age. The great explorers of the Victorian Age, yes, we remember them from the great things that they discovered and named after them. I mean, people like Livingstone, and I think is it Lewis and Clark in America, who opened up very much of America, and when the vast majority, well, virtually all the population lived on the East Coast, because the interior is completely unknown. What these explorers did was walk round and just see the beauty in the normal. You know, they would cross, say, a landscape, and they'd cross a hill and be looked down on what most people would say, oh, it's just an ordinary valley, but to them they saw the wonder and beauty of the landscape and what was in there. And the same with meeting the people, because of course one of the things that tends to be forgotten when you are talking about the great explorers of the past is that even though from their perspective they went places and named things, but there was often indigenous populations, people who lived there for thousands of years, and they had their names for objects and items, and then along comes an explorer and says, yes, I found that, I'm going to name this Victoria Falls, as Livingstone named it. But the locals had their own name for those falls. Those falls have been part of their lives, as I said, for 1,000 years. And I've lost my ship. There it is over there. Yeah, and I think this is what people tend to forget, and I think that is partly what No Man's Sky actually captures, is that spirit of exploration, but the true spirit of exploration, of going out and being on a planet like this. And there's part of me always says that I'm the first one on this planet in this game. I'm not following, so I can't go on YouTube and find someone who's been on this planet. I don't even know what it's called actually. Yeah, on Beating Sigma, and yeah, I know that I'm most likely, in fact I'm virtually guaranteed, that I'm the first player to sit down on this moon and look at it. And I think that is an attraction of No Man's Sky that is often overlooked and forgotten. Anyway, guys, I've rambled on long enough. I don't want to go into this too much, and I'm sure some of you will have a different opinion. I mean, there should be some unique items on this planet as well. Can't see any. There should be some question marks here. That isn't unique. That's a humming egg. Oh well, never mind. There should be like a big tetrahedron type thing like this that we can pick up. When I've got some back on my base, I picked up some of these a long time ago. Wait, they won't go right through me. Oh no, it's just pushed me out of the way. They obviously like my ship. Can we scan these things in the sky? No, we can't. Okay. Well, we want to scan a little. Oh, there we are. There's one over there. Just tucked in there. For any of you guys are not aware that I think it was the next update introduced these unique items that you can pick up. Yeah, ossified stuff. We'll just pick one of those up. This is I've already got one. Okay. And I've lost my ship again. Ship. Oh, come on, ship. There you are. Yeah, it was hidden behind this here. What we're going to do is just jump into here. Just going to drop a save. And it's going to take off. And we're completely out of fuel, so we're just going to flat up. Got 20% left on a warp drive, so I do need to get some warp fuel. I mean, I've got plenty of antimatter. Right, back out in space. Okay guys, let's just go down on this scorched planet and see what we can pick up. I could do with some phosphorus actually anyway, so maybe if we go down onto here. Right guys, here we are. We're down on this scorched planet. I think what I'm going to do is just put down. I'm going to let me land. This can't be a no land planet. And we're just going to jump out. We've got superheated gas pockets, low sentinels, frequent floras, generous fauna. Okay, this is going to be a little bit of a scorcher of a planet. We've just grabbed the creatures. We've got 1 of 7. We can always scan the creatures. $67,000. Looks like I've just completed another mission. I think what we're going to do is we're just going to deploy the signal booster and see if the signal booster throws up anything in this system. And I think we'll start by locate nearby structures. Planetary radar sweep initiated. Right, we've got something over there, the distress beacon. We can always go and check that out, and we've got loads of navigation data. So, scan for habitable outposts. Target outside local system. There we are. It goes to show that there's actually nothing in this system. So I'm very curious about that. It says it's 7 hours away. Wait, don't do noises like that. Another creature there. Okay. Right. What we're going to go and do is check out this distress beacon. Just see if it takes us anywhere. Right, here we are. Just gonna come. And we're just gonna land here. Oops, get a little bit of dust up from the surface. This game doesn't want me to land on this planet. Here's the distress beacon. Yes, thank you. just top the oxygen up and yeah, just use up those canisters. Let's see what the distress beacon says. Distress beacon, the ship appears to be in pristine, all systems functioning. See on the terminal that there's only video footage left of the system, sentinels surrounding the traveller, murdering them for mining large quantities of iridium, but the footage does not explain the newness of the ship. Now this is a little bit of a throwback actually, because iridium was a very key resource back in the early releases of the game, but it's virtually, well, it has disappeared now. But they were always the big blue columns that we were always hunting down to, I can't remember what it was now, I think it was used to fuel the ship actually. And so it goes to show that there's a little bit of residual history left in the game. So I find a valuable cargo appears to be there. Formula, give me a formula. It's giving me nothing. Yeah, I'm quite intrigued by that. The fact that buried in the game, there's still some of the old residual history still around from the game. Or lore, I suppose, is probably the things. Antimatter housing, that'd be useful because that will allow me to make warp fuel. This sodium. Only just threw a bit of a wibbly wobbler. And we got some ammunition here. Some unidentified material here. And I suppose that instance kind of brings me on to, I know I've talked about what I like about No Man's Sky and the, you know, just been going out and exploring and doing things. I do feel that there needs to be a little bit more game content, a little bit more surprise. Whoops, we better. I think we'll just use up some phosphorus. Yeah, I do feel that maybe there does need to be a little bit more content in the game, especially late game content, because again, I think it's very much a temptation that a lot of players, when they start off, they rush down they'll say the Atlas Path or the missions for Nada and Polo, and I think the proper way to play this game is to chill out a little bit and pace yourself. Don't rush down and do all the missions like all the base missions. Is just go out and explore stuff. But I've deviated away a little bit again now, guys, and I do think that there does need to be a little bit more content and a little bit more element of surprise actually. Oops, wrong one there. I think I mentioned it in a previous video quite recently where I was saying that certain things like, say, like buried scrap or buried bone archaeological sites, I think it'd be much more better if you found those on planets, but that you didn't see it when you actually saw the planet conditions. That it was something that would crop up, or could crop up on any planet. I mean, I think that would be really terrific, just to give that air of mystery about a planet and what's going on. Well, oh no, we haven't got you, so grab you. I definitely think I need some phosphorus though. There we are. This is 1000. What's the ship fuel? I'll check that. Yeah, I can summon the ship if I need it. So we'll go and get some phosphorus. That'll give me some protection on this planet. And I'm just going to go in this direction and see what we can find. And we'll just grab a little bit of dihydrogen. Look at that. That's awesome. The rings coming down through the clouds. Again, I think this is an illustration of what wandering around exploring is about. Is you see things like that And I think in the world we now live in, this world of instant gratification, of you decide to do something, you click a button and it's there. I think that actually results in a lack of appreciation of what is actually around you. I think, what's it? You should take the time to stop and smell the roses, I think is the term. And I think that's what life is slightly all about. I know I'm getting a bit philosophical here, guys, but I'm in that kind of mood, actually, to be honest. That sometimes it is the simple things that are more important. And as I say, in this world of instant gratification, of, oh, I want to do this, right, click, 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 oh, there it is, I've done it, I've seen it. It takes away the air of expectation and the feeling of wonder when you see something for the first time. If you know that it's there. And I think that's something, I very much feel that that's something we have lost in the modern world now. You know, that there isn't this air of expectation and wonder that you can see it. I mean, I suppose in some ways it's like art, or if you go and see a major location, you can watch video tours on it on YouTube and television programs on it. But despite doing all that, it still doesn't beat that wonder of, say, like walking into a place with a vast illuminated ceiling and just walking in and looking up and experiencing it yourself. And I know a lot of people say, yeah, I've done it, tick it off, and away we go. And that is one of the strange things of No Man's Sky. It is just this sense of just looking around and seeing, yeah, you've seen it before, but at the same time, have you seen it in this location? I mean, and that is very much what it's about. Wow. Okay. We've got to get over this canyon. See what I mean, guys? We walked up over here, and it looked like a completely flat terrain, and suddenly you've got this massive canyon inside in the way for me to get up to there, and you've got a creature over there. See, totally unexpected. Just hopping around on the side of the mountain. We've got 6 out of 7 creatures. And of course, we're now in this golden zone, which is quite characteristic to No Man's Sky, that you find the first 90% of the creatures on a planet very quickly, and then the last one lurks away in some dark corner, never to be found. And yes, I know. Got loads of sodium, so I don't think I seem to have got turned round here, actually, because my ship. Okay, just gonna have to let my jetpack recharge. We walk across the angle here. We will slowly get up the slope if I reverse the angle. I need to fully charge the jetpack. If we just keep walking across the angle like this until the jetpack's recharged, and then maybe we can power up the slope. I'm just going to keep going up across like this. And the slope seems to be easing off a little bit, actually. There we are. A bit of patience and we can get up through here. Yes, thank you. Ah, there we are. That's what you call a landscape, isn't it? Wow. Oh, yeah. I feel a picture coming on. I'm just going to just top that up and put loads of sodium. I'm just going to take a picture. Yeah, I really like that. Grab that sodium nitrate while we're at it. Probably do with some carbon, actually, come to think of it. I'm pretty sure I'm a little bit low on carbon. Oops, there's a hole down here. Wow. Well, we could go down and do a bit of cave hopping. Right, this is what we come for. Victor slash plant. Hello, Mr. Sentinel. What would this game be without the Sentinels? Oops. Just magnetized ferrite. And we're just going to pick up a little bit of this phosphorus. And we better top up my exosuit, get a bit of protection. So we're just going to suck that bump. Well, that wasn't too bad, guys. I mean, I got, let's put this in the high capacity. Yeah, we've got 339 phosphorus. I could do with some more, actually. So, there's any more around here? There's a sentinel cadmium deposit there. Phosphorus deposit 903. Where's my ship again? We're getting quite good at losing my ship at the moment. That's 1,000. That's 821. So what we're going to do is walk back that way. The way we've come. Hello, creature. And we'll get some more phosphorus on the way back. Grab that mining beam. A little bit of sodium nitrate to fill up everything as we go along. Actually, what we probably could do is top up my using condensed carbon. I suppose the other thing I could do is just reload that. Ow. Oops. Got about the canyon. Just walk across the top here. I don't really need oxygen, but why not? Let's pick it up. Grab scan this plant as well while we're at it. Got a bit of radon. Can't remember what radon's actually used for now. Grab a little bit of carbon, some ferrite here. I've got pure ferrite and phosphorus, but I think we'll take that. So I think I'm getting a little bit low on pure ferrite. I'm just going to... Wow, there's another one right behind. We'll take that as well. Back in the direction of the ship, aren't we? An identified plant here. So we're doing okay for the plant scanning. We can probably walk up through that pass there. I think while I'm wandering back towards this phosphorus deposit, I mean, we can reflect a little bit on what would make No Man's Sky a better game. And maybe unexpected things is probably a good way to doing it. Like maybe they do need to put some caves in. I mean, what do you guys think? Do you think they should have some dungeon type caves where you can go in and explore, and there's creatures in there, or and maybe make the game slightly less predictable? Because I mean, that is one element about the game. The conflict level is that it is fairly predictable. I know they introduced horrors and some tough, but you know where they are. It's like I'm walking across here, and the only two real threats I've got at the moment is sentinels which on this planet are pretty passive, and the occasional unexpected predator. I mean, oops, talk about that. Maybe turn around and look very quickly. I mean, I suppose there is a case for maybe some a geological hazard or something, or maybe they toughen up some creatures, or maybe some unexpected aliens. I mean, that would suddenly make life incredibly difficult for you. In some ways, I think if you wanted to, in some ways, if you wanted to improve No Man's Sky, a game to look at would be like Imperium, with the more intense hostile POIs, where rather than like at the moment in No Man's Sky, virtually all the buildings are the same. You know what you're expecting. I mean, you land at a manufacturing base, and yes, there's slight variations, but the overall structure remains the same. So maybe they need to go slightly in the direction of Imperium, where you've got the hostile POIs that can be which prove a challenge to get through. Anyway, yes, thank you, game. And we're just going to this up. Use ferrite dust this time. And, I mean, that could be a thing, is to have, and I mean, making maybe some of the NPCs go hostile and retaliate if you upset them. Again, it's a bit like the Imperium model. I mean, I think that would prove a little bit of a challenge as well for any player who wants to get down and dirty. Because I mean, I'll be honest, there's days when I feel like, yeah, going in and going head to head with someone and dealing with that challenge, and then there's other days I just want to just chill out and explore and look at things. But I suppose that's the nature of gaming, isn't it? That when you play games, it's you get the situation. Right. Okay, I was just about to get my heat protection up again. I'll be going through this quite well, but I've got loads of phosphorus now, so that can go in as well. That can go to the high capacity. That can go to the high capacity. I've got a mining beam here, which I was going to trade in, but because we can't do that at the moment because we're not in a system with any trading stations or anything like that. And again, it'd be really great if you were in a system like this where you're saying, well, there's no hostiles, there's no life forms, there's no space stations. Suddenly come across, say, a unique building or something which may be inhabited by a hostile life form or something. I mean, it would make wanting to explore these planets a lot more interesting, especially for people who do want the challenge. Get rid of that. Anyway, guys, just going to keep wandering back this way. Apologies if you think I'm rambling, guys, but I'm in that kind of mood at the moment. A bit philosophical. And it's when I'm in moods like this is the time when I most want to play No Man's Sky, actually, strangely enough. Yeah, I think the gameplay, it's that reflective mood. You know, compared to other games which are a lot more intense and you've got to be a bit more switched on and focused. Now, I think No Man's Sky allows that, a reflective frame of mind. I think we've got that there. Got a stress beacon. Okay, got nothing else here. Got a salt deposit. Another phosphorus deposit. I walked all that way out and there was a phosphorus deposit on my doorstep. I'm pretty sure some of you guys probably noticed it when I first set out and reached for the comments and said, look, we've walked 1,000 units out for a phosphorus deposit when there's one right on your doorstep. But that's not really the point, I suppose. Is sometimes when you go in somewhere, again, it's very much like what the Great Explorers did. The Great Explorers had an objective and they were going somewhere. They didn't just wander out the camp one day and said, let's go in this direction and see, you know, and just see what turns up. I mean, some of them had, they always had an objective of where they wanted to go to, But at the same time, the objective wasn't everything. The more important part was the journey. Yeah. So yes, you do need an objective, and I think that's, again, this is very much the way to play No Man's Sky. You need to start off with an objective, like in this video, I want to come and look at a red system. But there's no point just turning up and saying, yes, I've seen a red system, I've looked at a few things, that's it. Let's move on to the next thing. What you've got to do is say, right, I've come to a red system, I want to explore it, I want to look at it, and then just experience it and see what's actually there. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent again, guys. Apologies. Just good enough. This is carbon and copper, right? So I'll just grab this. As I say, I do need some extra carbon, and then I'll. What, have I got this one? Yep. Carbon and radium. I think we'll just wander back towards the ship. So I would really like to get the missing creature, but I suppose they're not going to show up. Yeah. There's some dihydrogen there, we'll just grab that. And we're just going to jump back in the ship and take stock of what we got here. Got some lemonum. That needs to, well, that comes from there. That needs to go to high capacity. Got 430 tritium now. It is pretty reasonable in its own way. A bit of pyrite. Copperite can go to there. That can go to the high capacity. That can go to the high capacity. Yeah, we've got over loads and loads of phosphorus now, which is good. I've got all these items to sell. Just move that there and that down there. Yeah, I've got a cryogenic chamber, which I could make. It is one of the key components of a stasis chamber, but I can't make a stasis chamber at the moment, which is unfortunate. We've got a fusion igniter here, which is worth 31 million. We just need to find somewhere to sell these at a good price. And what I do need also is to turn these back to nanites, because I don't really need these now. I'm pretty sure I've already got a class radiation protection. What we got here? They've got S-class toxic protection. Here we are. This is S-class radiation. That's toxic. That's me being stupid. And flame. We got B-class frost protection. And then of course we got the A oxygen protection as well. Microbe purifier, life support tanks. Okay. Right, let's just take off and get back up into space. And I've just noticed the time, guys. I've probably wasted a lot of your time philosophizing a little bit. What we're going to do is we're going to head for the capital vessel. Because oh great, so it looks like we're going to finish with a space battle. Yes, I know. Rocket launcher. Gotcha. We'll use the phase beam this time, see if we can get a better lock. Ow. I think my frigates have come in support. Yeah, I think the phase beam has got a bit more knockdown than the... Almost like this ship, you've got to fly it. You can't really stand still with it. You've almost got to chase your quarry a little bit. I'm drifting a bit. I actually need a bit more stability, don't I? And control. Gotcha. Yeah, the ship's very floaty. Blast our way through here. That spiky thing is going to be platinum. What's that over there? Got an abandoned planet. And there's a moon attached to it. So, and that moon as well. A fiery moon. This is quite a hot, fiery system. Keep blasting the way through here. As I say, I do need the tritium for fuel. And at the moment, this seems to be the only way I can get it. Well, my train. Actually, I've just had a thought, guys. So, just to wind this part up, we better get the orientation right. My capital vessel's got a trading station on it, and I'm very curious to find out what the prices will be here, seeing that there's no economy. That needs to go to the high capacity. That goes to the high capacity. That needs to go to the exosuit. Yeah, we've got 900. When we now got 740 tritium. So what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to go up here. It's quite often this trading station reflects the economy of the system that you're in. So -12, wow. Mineral compressor. I've also made these for some frigate missions. So -12, -11. The prices are still pretty uniformly terrible, aren't they? Okay. And of course that mission's back. What we'll do, while I'm thinking about it, guys, is we should be able to make some... I've got some frigate fuel. So let's do that. And warp cells. Starship. Put that in there. And I'd forgotten completely about this mission, so let's just click here, debrief commander. See what we got here. Got some cash. Discovery data worth 211 units. Wow. Okay, solar activity 69, expected maximum. Another 250. Got some carbon crystals. We're not really making a fortune here, are we? Activated cadmium, terra cobalts, profit units. We're making Viking effigies, chromic metal, discover data worth. Yeah, well, we made 2.2 million. We've got a little bit of dihydrogen, a tetra cobalt. And we've got dihydrogen here as well. What we'll do is make more, because I can always mine some more tritium outside. That gives me 650 fuel. So what we're going to do is go out and... I think I've got enough fuel for one mission. So fuel potential expeditions. There's a 461 here. Trade negotiations. I quite like that, but the problem, yeah, let's go with that. I don't know if I'm gonna have enough fuel for it, but we'll give it a go, guys. And wow, where's my support frigates? Okay, Send you back. Send 2 trade out. And a combat. And an exploration. Oh, okay. That's because of the distance. Okay, we'll just have to go for the balanced expedition. Hopefully, we'll send a support ship, industrial trade, exploration, and combat. That's going to give me 400 tons. Now I can put in all this stuff. Well, might as well use this up what we got there. So that gives me plus 10 for exploration, 10 for industry. So the holographic analyzer gives us plus 10 exploration. It's just, I mean, that could really work this out. We may make it a profitable mission here. Then again, we might get absolutely nothing. That's beside the point. We got a case of ancestral robes. And what we got here? We got a delicate artist's instrument, which is 413 years old. I mean, this is the type of random events which I just wish Hello Games would explore more in the overall game content. I mean, it goes to show that they can do it. They think that way. It's just that they don't seem to want to pull it together. We've got ancestral robes. They're worth 200,000. And we've got some hybrid fog missile tubers, which are 396 years old. Used for trading. Okay. I think that's going to be pretty good, guys. Anyway, I think this is where I'm going to leave it. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Hope you found it interesting. Sorry I got a little bit too maybe philosophical about the game. I mean, do you agree with that point of view, or do you feel that maybe the game is lacking in some areas? Anyway, whatever you feel, guys, feel free to chuck it in the comments, and maybe we'll discuss it more in the future. But until next time, whatever you do, enjoy your gaming.